Life is easy when you up on the mountain. You got peace of mind like you never know. But things change when you down in the valley. Don't lose faith, for you never alone. For the God of the mountain is the God in the valley. Things go wrong, you make them right. He's the God of the good times. It's the God in the bad times, the God of the day. It's the God in the night. Jesus, we give you all the glory. You're still God in the night. The top of faith.
Talk of faith, way up on the mountain. The talk so easy when nights are this bad. Now down in the valley of trials and temptation, that's where your faith is really put to test.
For the God of the mountain is the God in the valley. When things go wrong, you make them right. And the God of the good times is the God in the bad times, the God of the day is the God in the night, the God of the day is the God in the night. We talk of faith way on the mountain. Talks come so easy when life at its best. Down, down in the valley of trials and temptations, that's where your faith is really good to tell. For the God of the mountain is the God in the valley. When things go wrong, you mountain. When you are on the mountain, and you got peace of mind like you never knew. But things change when you're down in the valley. Don't you stay, for you never alone. You are never alone in this situation. He's the God of the mountain. It's the God in the valley. Things go wrong, you make them right. And the God of the good times, it's the God in the bad times, the God of the day, it's the God in the night, the God of the day. It's the God in the
Good afternoon, everyone. You're welcome to the Glory Talk Show. Today, we are going to be talking on choices have consequences. And our host here is Lady Pastor Faye, the first lady of Glory Ministries International. She's going to educate us on the reasons why we have to take cautious, be cautious on the choices we make. You're welcome, Pastor Faye.
Thank you very much, Lady Joy, for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So based on our topic today, choices have consequences. What would you like to say? What are the consequences of choice?
Well, the choice is deciding to do something and going for it, without waiting for anyone's opinion. And then the consequences is that when you go for it, it's in two ways. It either gives you the good consequences or a negative consequences. So purposely, should I say, choices are part of our human race. It's a norm in life. When you go to a particular point in time, as far as an individual is concerned, you are supposed to make choices. So basically, and the choices you make doesn't just become a choice, but it can either give you two influences, either negative or positive. So that's what I actually feel is the meaning of choices have consequences.
So what would you like to tell all viewers based on our topic? What the Bible really decides on the choices we are supposed to make?
Okay, I just want to be realistic here. Somebody enters a bar out of, should I use the word frustration, of a particular contract that didn't go well, or a bad day, and decide to end it up drinking in the bar. He drinks and drinks off his troubles, forgetting that after drinking the next day the trouble is still waiting for you. And then he sat in the car drunk, had an accident and killed somebody. That was a choice he decided to make. He had a bad day, but then someone could have decided to go home, sleep it off. Somebody else would have decided to pray about it, but he decided to go to the bar. drink, and then at the end, what happened? He killed somebody. The consequence is that somebody, when he was making that choice, he was only thinking about himself or herself. He forgot about any other person and how it's going to affect any individual. So being realistic, not going biblical so much here, should make you to know that this particular drunkard made a choice, but at the end, look at the consequences. So after the person dies, all he could tell himself and ask himself is, why did I even go to the bar in the first place? And why did I get myself drunk? But then he had already faced the consequences of killing somebody and ending up in jail for years or for life. So therefore, coming realistic, if you want to put the Bible at a particular point and like to think about the choices you make as an individual, it's something you have to think about before you take any step. Then when you come to the biblical aspect, it has a lot to do. The biblical or the Bible is there to help us to make the right choices. It makes it so easy to make choices. But then when the choice is coming from you as an individual and it's coming from your own perspective or what you feel or what your mind is telling you, and it doesn't really come specifically and emphatically from the Bible, that is where we see consequences that sometimes don't go well. I don't know if I've explained it very well. Yes. So that is how I see the choices we make in life.
I also want to ask a question. At times when you are left in with, for example, Adam and Eve.
Okay.
Eve was in a situation that she had to take action at that moment. So at that particular time, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to make the right choice because the pressure and then the thoughts from your mind and at that time you even think of what will happen, but you just want to make a choice to see the result. But how can you make a good choice in order to get a good result?
Well, if you talk, thank you very much, Lady Joy. Eve had the opportunity never to make any choice. Because after all, I don't know what pressure and what was on her that should have made her to choose to touch what he was not supposed to touch. So I think with the side of Eve, it was out of her own curiosity. As the saying adage goes, curiosity kills the cat. Everyone is curious to know what will happen. God said I should not touch the apple, but just to fulfill her curiosity, she decided to go in and eat the apple. At the end, it didn't go well. So choices that we make, the word choice is a very broad thing and it's a very delicate aspect. It's like having a newborn baby or having only one egg left in your house. You don't handle it well, it breaks, you cannot fry or cook it. It has been broken and there's nothing you can do about it. So I believe that in that aspect, to avoid such situation, there are certain things there's no need to make any choice. That is the curiosity. You can be curious, but it will not have any effect in your life. Whether she ate the apple or she didn't eat the apple, it wouldn't have done anything. She just had to follow the instruction and just obey, not to eat. But when you are coming to choices that we make that will make us to have a positive impact, I'll say it again, and I've already said it, that go into the Bible, look at what others did, look at the consequences, and out of it will advise you so on what to do and the choices you take so that you can have good consequences coming. Imagine if I enter the Bible now and I look at what the disobedience of Eve that caused a curse that has affected humanity up to now should make me to know that if I want to disobey God, then I should know that it doesn't have to do with what I feel or what to make me happy or what to give me pleasure. You understand? But rather it must that choice that I'm going to make must affect the next generation. I have to think about it, whether is going to go in a positive way or negative. So if I look at Eve, it's easy to make me to know that I disobey God, I receive curses. I obey God, I receive blessings. So the choice is for me. So to have the perfect choice in life, you and I must go straight into the Bible, the Word of God.
Okay, thank you. I just had a question in mind. You know, in life, when you're growing up, you don't know what you will be or the occupation you want to have when you're growing up.
Yes.
First, you start by saying you want to be a doctor.
Okay.
And you realize that the science subjects are not really convenient for you.
Okay.
Then you realize that you want to be a teacher.
Okay.
But when you look at the income, it will not be beneficial to your life.
Okay.
That you want to expand more. Then you realize that you want to be a caterer. Then you realize that being a caterer doesn't really give you the fame.
Okay.
Like compared to when someone asks you what do you do for a living?
What's
you
your
say
profession? Doctor, lawyer, that's right.
Then the next thing, your parents will have decisions in mind, but because of what maybe they've given to you, like for the education that they've helped you in, so you want to show your appreciation by being what they want you to be.
Okay. So you are saying that it's sort of you're in a dilemma.
Yes.
You don't know which one to go, what to choose, and how to go about things. I think that if it comes to choosing a profession, Bible says whatever your hands find to do it with all your might. When Joseph found himself in Potiphar's house, it wasn't a place of fame, even though it was a prime minister's house. It wasn't a place because, of course, when you go to a prime minister's house, a houseboy doesn't mean anything. A houseboy is a houseboy, whether in a prime minister's house or anybody's house. But the main important aspect and the main important thing was that he said, I know God is watching me, so whatever I do. So whether you decide to be a caterer or you decide to be a teacher, wherever you are, there's a saying adage that says that brighten the corner where you are. So wherever you are and whatever your hands find to do it with all your might. Don't think about the fame. Don't think about, because after all, a teacher decides not to teach because of salary, then there will be no teachers in the world. If a caterer decides not to, then there will be no delicacies in this world. There's no creativity in this world. So if there's nothing that, will take away your fame if you are already famous. And there's nothing that will take away your salary or your earnings if that is what you want to achieve. But then, just do it well. And when you do it out of your mind, like how Joseph served the master well, even when certain choices were presented to him that would have given him a permanent a temporal pleasure, he decided to choose the permanent one, that is still endure prison life, endure lies, endure persecution just for the sake of doing what is right. So it's a matter of doing what is right, but not, choosing what your parents will say or whatever. Wherever your passion is and is drawing you to go into it, but then remember that you can even be a doctor and still fail and not have fame and not have money. So it's not about fame and money. It's about whatever your hands find to do it with all your might. That is what I think you should say.
Well, before you make a decision, you have to have knowledge. And normally these days, it's a saying that those who are wise make wise decisions. So, what's the difference between knowledge and wisdom?
Oh, okay. Well, knowledge is knowledge, to know something about what you want to do. But wisdom is in all. You see, Bible says in all you're getting, get wisdom. Because wisdom is the principal thing. Wisdom is that which God gives to us to have knowledge over everything. So the principle is wisdom, but knowledge is I want to have knowledge on a particular aspect That one is serene. That one is particularly pointed to one particular area.
So could it be that knowledge is having information
on one particular aspect?
Wisdom is being able to apply the knowledge you have.
That's it. Because wisdom comes from God. Wisdom comes from God. Bible says Jesus grew in wisdom, in stature, in favor. But when he was growing up, he had to go to the temple to have knowledge. So basically, that's the difference between having choices and choosing things that you would have to choose.
Okay, if I clearly remember, you said if you want to make a decision, you have to seek God's counsel.
Yes.
So how can you seek God's counsel?
You know, every human being have an inner conviction, especially when it has to do with things, trivial things like you want to join friends to go to a party, or you want to go, those things you don't need to seek any approval. It's just think about the consequences and see whether it's profitable. But when it has to do with things like marriage, things like having a profession in life, things like choosing to serve God, all these are major things that you have to go to God. That is what you just said. Gather enough knowledge. Pray to God for wisdom and think about how that step is going to affect you positively. I don't know if I'm explaining it well. So going for knowledge means that going to the Bible, searching out the matter, searching out. Bible says that it's the glory of God to conceal a matter, but it's the glory of kings to do or to search out the matter. So you want to go into marriage. What are the things that people have experienced? What is going on? Read more books, profitable books on marriage, and also search out the Bible, which is the ultimate manual for marriage. Understand it very well. Pray about it before you enter. So that one will draw the type of man or woman you want. It will draw the type of home you want. It will draw the type of environment you would create in future for your marital life. So choices that we are talking about is the major things that, marriage is, you have to stay with a person to get forever till Christ comes for his rapture. So therefore, if you are entering into it, it must be a major and a great choice. You must really think about the consequences very well and not just enter because you really want to enter. You understand? So there are certain little choices that it's obvious for you and I to know what to do. But when it comes to the major choices that we make, that is where you really have to go into the word and also pray to God for wisdom and for what to do. And God surely speaks.
Okay, does God force choices on us? Because if you look at Adam and Eve, God didn't make them decide or come to a conclusion that, please, let's sit down and let's think about this. When you eat this apple, this and this and this will happen.
But Joy,
what do you think about
Joy,
it?
Funny enough, they were not part of the creation, so they didn't have a choice. But if
God forces choices on us.
No, if I want to really understand you, let's use somebody like Saul, who was then into Paul, that God called on the Damascus road when Jesus said, Paul, why are you forsaking me? And Paul should come. Some people say Paul was forced into serving God and doing God's work. But because he was going about doing his own work when Jesus made him blind, and of course, if you are blind and you need Jesus, you don't have any option than to serve Jesus.
But at that point, I think Jesus was trying to let him know how important he was.
Yes, I think that was not an enforcement on him. If God gives us the opportunity probably to choose to serve him, it's because he's a father. And can you imagine two fathers? Let me see which one will you choose. A father who insists that you must do something, and a father who will give you the opportunity but educates you that, my daughter, this way and this way is right, this way is wrong. Choose the ones you have.
I prefer the second.
The second one, that is it. So therefore, God doesn't enforce. That is why even having salvation is a choice.
Yes, but
being saved is a choice. God said, even in Deuteronomy, He said somewhere that I've given you this day, once you must choose life. Even He has given us a choice to choose death or life, but choose life so that you and your family will live. So God doesn't enforce His choice on us. He gives us the opportunity. Even the devil, look at Satan, look at all that he did, and look at all that he's doing. God has still given him the opportunity to repent. He has given him the choice to decide on what he wants to do. That makes him a loving father. But then if he has to just give us the negative consequences and make us to enforce us to do exactly what he wants, then he's not a father. Therefore, God never forces us on his choices to serve him.
Okay. Now, let's say you enter into you take a bad choice and you are facing the consequences. Do we have a way out from that consequence?
Yes, you surely have a way out. Some people don't learn from their words, their consequences. You understand?
Yeah.
When the consequences are coming, it depends on how you attribute it to yourself. Is it because I did this, that's why I'm seeing that? But some who don't learn out of their consequences rather send it to other people and start blaming others. Oh, it's my father who didn't take me to school. It's this one who didn't do this. It's this one, we intend blaming. With that aspect, you cannot come out of the consequences because you are seeing it as somebody's problem. You are not seeing it that even though your father is the one who did that, he didn't force you to do it. You had a choice. You still had a choice to do what you could do. So when we have the consequences, it depends on how we send it. It's like I didn't know, I choose to slap you because you are my daughter, and after slapping you, God forbid, you fell down and you are sick in the hospital. What then do you think should be the consequences? Is that I saw you in the hospital, I feel bad, everyone will know that I slapped my daughter and I can't feel free, and you are struggling for your life. I will not be happy. But then what do I choose to do? Do I choose to be angry with myself, lock myself up, pack my things and live as a parent, decide not to get closer to you because I feel guilty? Or go to God in prayer, ask God for forgiveness, come to you and also apologize to you for forgiveness. You understand? Then even if you forgive me, I still have to go through it by spending on you, making you happy, and I have to earn your trust back. And so, you see, when the consequences come, we make wrong choices. Consequences come. Where we tend to will depend on how we'll be coming out or not.
I think before you see, when you are working in a medical field, and your job as a doctor is to help patients. If you prescribe medications for them, so you know your purpose.
Yes.
So I think that if you know your purpose in life, making decisions won't be very, very difficult. Because if my purpose, God's purpose for me is to be a lawyer, a judge, I know that this is what I have to do.
Yes.
So anything that comes up throughout my life, I will know how to go by it, because
as far as being a judge is concerned.
Yes, because as a judge you are supposed to you have to follow the law, because if you are judging people who are not for the lawful, yes, you will not be, you be biased.
Yes.
So I know this kind of life that I have to live. So I think we have to discover our purpose. So how can we discover our purpose, know how to make choices?
I believe that we are on this earth to show forth who God is and an example to God. You understand? Now, every human being have three let me use the word, we are on earth to fulfill some purposes. Even God creating Adam and Eve, who told them, increase, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue. So there were some purposes they had to fulfill. Now the first purpose that we see ourselves fulfilling is as far as going to school, becoming a judge, a lawyer, and all those purposes. Now, those ones are just temporal, because to be a judge here doesn't make you a judge in heaven. Are you getting me? So those who going to school, acquiring knowledge, and becoming whoever you have to become, is just for the earth. And even in that purpose, God expects you to shine forth His glory in that. That is, as you said, don't be biased, don't take bribe, and then don't judge wrongly, and don't be favorites and all that. Now, then the second purpose is when, it's not compulsory to marry, but when you choose to marry, when Eve and Adam decided to marry, they entered into another responsibility.
They decided to.
Yes, when God gave Eve to Adam, what did Adam say? At the moment God gave animals to Adam to name, Adam didn't say anything. He just named them chimpanzee, bird, hippopotamus, and so he ate. It has been up to now. But when he saw Eve, what did he say? He now decided to marry her by saying what? He exclaimed, this is the bone of my bone, the flesh of my flesh. She shall become woman, because she was taken out from me. That is why a man will leave the father and mother and cleave to he didn't say woman, the wife, and become one flesh. So he agreed to marry her, and they became one flesh. That is a topic for another day. Now, so that aspect, when you become a wife, you have a different purpose. You have added to your first purpose. That is, after being a judge, you have added to your first purpose a second responsibility of becoming a wife. You understand? Now, when you become a wife and you choose to have children, you have also added another purpose. Are you getting me? Yes. But all these purposes, God choked the main and major purpose in which God brought us on this earth. We are here to replenish the earth, to subdue it. We are here to show forth the glory of God. So every human being has a physical purpose to fulfill. We also have a spiritual purpose to fulfill. And then when you are a wife or a husband, a marital purpose to fulfill. And when you become a mother or a father, you also have a fatherly purpose and a motherly purpose to fulfill. So, but the major one is go into the world and preach the gospel. And that one, everyone must. It's a must. That is the major and main purpose. So when you sing, you are singing to draw people to God. When I preach to draw people to God. Whatever everyone does to play a part in drawing souls to God, it's the main and major purpose in which we will go to heaven. And that is why in heaven, there's nothing, I don't know how I'll see you, my daughter, in heaven. But in heaven, there's nothing like mother and daughter. There's nothing like husband and wife. So, the marital purposes, please, are you getting me? The physical purpose of becoming a judge, a lawyer, a doctor, and all those things are just temporal. But the main one that God wants us to fulfill is what we are going to do in heaven. And that is what? We should go out, preach the gospel, and draw people. But many of us, the world has presented to us that if you are married, your purpose is to make your husband happy, get children, do that. The temporal ones are what we stress so much on, and we leave the ones that must be permanent. And that is because we are ambassadors of Christ. Don't worry, I'm writing a book on fulfilling your purpose, and it will be coming out very soon, so that it can give you more explanation on what I really want to see.
Okay. There's one last question.
Okay.
It says, can we avoid consequences in the choice we make? Is it that we can't avoid the consequences in the choice we make?
Whatever choice you make in life, there will surely be. It's like they are twins. They move together. They work together. As much as you can't be angry and not be bitter. Because you can't be angry with a chair, excuse me to say. It's with a human being. And anger gives birth to bitterness. So it's the same. You can't make a choice without a consequences. But all that I want to say to all of you is that there are two consequences. It all has to go with the choice you make. You make a good choice, you have a good consequence. You make a bad choice, go with it. You know, let me give you an example before we close to just elaborate what I want to say. So get to know that there is no choice without consequence. So think about the consequences before you make the choice. Samson was a great man. His death was prophesied to. Samson, had a lot of opportunity. He could bring all the world together, and a single man can kill everyone. But then what happened to Samson? He had to what? Choose to follow a prostitute. He chose to reveal his secrets. At the end, what happened to him? His eyes was plucked out, and what happened? He had to be used to the milling corn, and he died with his enemies at his youngest age. Why? He chose to go with a prostitute. He chose to reveal the secrets that God has warned him not to reveal. So there is no, and even David, he was a man after God's own heart, and he's still a man after God's own heart. But when he chose to commit adultery, he received the consequences, and it was a bitter one. Especially when the prophet Nathan told him that the Lord said, because you have done that, your own children will fight you. And it came to pass. I'm telling you. So please understand that the choices we make will surely have consequences. But if you want to have a good consequences, think about the consequences. Think about the choice you make very well before you start it. Otherwise, it might not go well, and you end up blaming somebody. But please, it's nobody's fault to be blamed.
Okay, please, is that all you have to say? But there's something you'd like to tell me.
Are we having any question from our viewers?
No. One lady said that follow the law and have the sentiment of the case, so you don't. Basically, she's also heading to what you're saying, that
Okay.
if you follow if you are right, you know what is right and wrong. So you just follow it in order to avoid wrong decisions, whether you judge wrong. So that's all.
Okay. So finally, I just want to say that there are three major choices on this earth that when we are taking, we must think about it. The first major choice is choosing to serve God or serve the devil. That is the road. Choosing to serve God or serve the devil. It's a major choice. Either ignoring God, the things about God, and just being a normal person. It's a major choice. You have to think about it, because you will not stay on this earth forever. There is a place we are going, and surely we will go to a place. So ask yourself, if there is no place, when people die, where do they go to? The places are two. We have Hades and we have paradise. I don't know where you want to be. All those who are dead and gone, we always come and then say they are gone to heaven. But well, it's only God who knows. And they know whether they are in paradise or they are in Hades. And Hades is a prison waiting for hell. And paradise, as Jesus said on the cross, is a place waiting for heaven. So please, and that one, when you go, is forever. You wouldn't come back again. The next choice is marriage. When you marry and you go before the altar, you are supposed to stay in marriage. I think people are sending questions. So when you get married, it's very important to understand that you are supposed to stay with the person till Christ will come for the rapture. So the one you choose is even those who are divorced, they are having consequences that are not favorable. So before you enter into marriage, be very careful. Marriage is not something we rush into. And we don't go into marriage because of lust. We go into marriage because we want to have a future with somebody till Christ will come for his rapture. It's a very important choice that you and I should really note. And the last thing is that there's a commandment that love your neighbor as you love yourself. So understand that the choices you make, that is by making the type of people to surround your life, is also very, very important. The type of people that you allow to surround your life is very, very important. So because the people will make you or make you, they would help you to fulfill a good purpose or fulfill a purpose that's not good. So these three choices is very, very important, apart from the other ones which are obvious and very easy to make a choice out of. These three choices are very, very important. So that is what I will leave to you. But when we come back again, we'll see what we can do and we can say in other aspects. I'm having a notification that somebody wants to ask a question.
Some are stubborn and will not care. What is your advice?
Some people are stubborn and they don't care the choices they make. The consequences. They don't care about the consequences.
The consequences are stubborn.
Negative consequences. Some are stubborn and do not care. What is your advice?
Oh, okay. Some are stubborn, they don't care about the negative consequences. Is that what the person wants to say?
Negative consequences. We have negative consequences.
Yes.
So some are stubborn, and as those who, some people do not care. There are some people in this world, I don't care people.
Oh, okay. But I believe that life, you cannot eat food for anybody. Neither can you do anything for anybody. Even if I have my knowledge, I die and go with it. Nobody will inherit my knowledge. It's with me. Therefore, if people still want to follow their own bad things, negative things, and don't care about the negative consequences, and say let me eat after what is life and all that, I think that it's the only person who can change them is God. The good aspects you and I can do is to pray for them and tell God to speak to them and tell God to work on them. When God works on them, it will be once and for all. But when you try to talk them through and they decide that they wouldn't go for it, they wouldn't still go for it.
Yeah, I feel like at times when you go through decisions that, like when you take choices that affect you badly, no one will tell you to make a bad decision. Because if you know when you touch fire, you get burnt. No one will send you to touch.
But some people want to touch the fire, get bent, go through the consequences and still come out before.
So you leave them. That's how some people want to fall down first before they know that if I go here, I'll fall down. So you leave them to make that choice that they will learn.
But they will also tell you that anyway, a child will start by walking and falling before he stands. So they chose to fall before they can. That is them. That is what I use curiosity. They are so curious to fulfill their pleasures and desires so much that they don't care the consequences. But well, it's rather unfortunate. But I believe that the best thing you and I can do as Christians for them, that when you keep talking and they still don't care, pray for them. And God will know how and where to pass them through to make them to live. And when God changes a person, it is forever. But when man changes a person, it's for a particular reason, and the person can go back to it. So that is all there is.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for having us. Thank you for being here and educating us. Well, I also like to say that in order to make a decision, the first thing you need to know is that you have to clarify your decision. Get wisdom from God, seek God's counsel, pray about it, consider alternative choices, make a decision, and trust in what the Lord will do. So thank you all for listening to.
Can you go over again so that those for the benefit of those who are writing?
Clarify 7-step biblical decision making guide that comes to the surface is 1. Clarify the decision. Get wisdom from God. Get wisdom from the Bible. Seek godly counsel. Pray. Consider alternative choices. Make a decision and trust the Lord.
So it means that even there are a lot of process before you take that particular choice.
Just one decision.
That's right. And that will take you far.
Yes. Okay. Thank you all. Please stay tuned. God bless you and stay safe.